welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be covering is going over the AO games of yesterday, just recapping that action. Then we're moving on to the National League, so just recapping all the games that did happen yesterday, like I've been doing for a long time now. Then we're moving into a segment about some prospects being called up. There was a good amount of prospects that are notable that have been called up in the past few days or so I did want to just touch upon those guys and the impacts they're going to have on their teams. And then finally, we'll be going over a segment that I want to call Legend of the Game. It was Jackie Robinson Day yesterday, and John Sterling, the legendary Yankees announcer, did retire. So I kind of wanted to bunch those two guys into a segment and just talk about their impacts on the game of baseball and how they paved the way for other people. So yeah, I just wanted to put that into a segment and just talk about those guys. So now, before we get into the show today, I would like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get straight into our show today. All right, so as I talked about, we are going to be recapping the games yesterday. Now, before we do that, I would just like to say I want to apologize, first of all, for the stuff that happened last episode, just the technical difficulties about the lights in the room I'm recording in. That is going to happen. I think I figured out a way to stop it. I said that last time, and it did happen again. But if it does happen, I'm just going to continue to roll on and hope they come back on. So, just is the room I'm recording. It is very unfortunate, but it'll only be there for a handful of number of shows before I do go into a different setup. So, yeah, just wanted to let you guys know about that. All right, so let's get into the games from yesterday. We're going to start off with the American League like usual, and the first game we have on the agenda is going to be Guardians and Red Sox. Two teams that have gone out to pretty hot starts for what we expected of them. We didn't really expect these two teams to be good, simply put, and they have been. So the scoring would not start till late in the game, going into the top of the seventh, where Will Brennan would hit a 2-run home run to make it 2-0 Guardians in the top seven. Jose Ramirez would then follow that up in the top of the eighth with an RBI double to score Ryan Roquicchio and Stephen Kwan. Top of the ninth, Gabriel Arias would hit an RBI double to score Will Brennan, and Roquicchio again would hit an RBI single to score Gabriel Arias to make it 6-0 Cleveland. The Red Sox would not score in this game, would only get 3 hits, so be a great win for the Guardians, and just a great job by them. Going to the pitching for this game, the Red Sox had Cutter Crawford on the mound, who went 5 2/3, giving up 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, and no home runs. An incredible start by Crawford. I mean, as great as you can do, obviously 6 2/3, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. So the Guardians' offense has been on fire, and he really controlled them very, very well. So yeah, just a great job by him overall. Even though they didn't win the game, still a very encouraging sign if you are a Red Sox fan for Cutter Crawford and his future with the Red Sox. For the Guardians, they had Xavier Curry on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So a really good start by him as well. Of course, you'd like him to go deeper into games, but he is a young pitcher, a guy that is still developing, in my opinion. So I don't think you should worry about that too much. I think it'll come with time. So yeah, I just want to see that. Xavier Curry, also one of the best names in baseball. His name's Xavier. It's about Xzavion. Just a really cool name, so a great name for a baseball player as well. So if he's good, I think it benefits a lot of people because you get to hear that name all the time. So next game we have on the agenda is going to be Orioles and Twins, two of the better teams in the American League facing off, even though the Twins haven't really lived up to that standard yet. Bottom of the first, the scoring would start off with a Jordan Westerberg RBI double, scoring Adley Rutschman and Ryan O'Hearn. Then, top of the second, Jose Miranda would try to get some of the runs back with a solo home run, his first of the year, making it 2-1 Baltimore. Ryan O'Hearn in the bottom of the third, didn't mean for that to rhyme, went into right back with a home run of his own, his third of the season, to make it 3-1 Baltimore. Then Cedric Mullins would hit a sacrifice fly to Byron Buxton, scoring Ryan Mountcastle to make it 4-1 Baltimore. Top four, Jose Miranda would again try to answer back with a RBI single to score Byron Buxton to make it 4-2. But just like before, the Orioles would bounce back themselves, hitting a 2-run home run courtesy of Cedric Mullins, scoring Jordan Westerberg to make it 6-2 Baltimore. Bottom six, the Orioles would just keep putting it on with a Gunnar Henderson solo home run, his 4th of the year, to make it 7-2. Ryan Jeffers in the top of the 7th would hit an RBI double to score Austin Martin and Eduardo Julian. But, I mean, that would be it for the game, as the Twins would end up losing 7-4 to Baltimore. So, yeah, unfortunate way for the Twins to lose. They still had a nice offense, but the Orioles were just simply better. So, For the Twins, they had Louis Varland on the mound, who definitely should have performed better. 5 innings pitched, 11 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Yes, the no walks are good, but 11 hits is way too much. 4 earned runs are not good as well, and 2 weren't earned as well, so definitely not a great start for him. You're playing a good offense, I know, but you're filling in for very valuable pieces in that rotation, ones who have left, ones who have gotten injured, so I think Varland needs to perform better, and overall, I think this Twins team needs to perform better, being 6-9 now. It's not getting late early, I'll say, but you definitely need to pick it up. For the Orioles, they had Cole Irvin on the mound, who went 4 2/3, giving up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. A solid start by him. I mean, only 2 earned runs, fine, but again, only 4 2/3. You definitely need to go deeper into a game if you are Cole Irvin and you are the Orioles. So, yeah, not a great start, but I guess it could have been worse. The next game we have on the agenda here is going to be Rangers-Tigers, a really low-scoring game here, as in the top of the fifth. Marcus Semien would ground into a force out to Javier Baez. Jonah Heim would score, and it would make it 1-0 Texas in the bottom of the fifth. And what do you know? That will be the only run in this game that would happen. So, a very low-scoring game, obviously. 2 really good teams this year, Detroit and Texas, both very even at 9-7 and 9-8. So, a nice win by the Rangers to win this pitcher's duel and get a good one on the board for them. For the Tigers, they had Reese Olson on the mound, who of course was very good. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. A 3.86 ERA in the season, very solid for him. Not extraordinary by any stretch, but still a really solid start to the season. For the Rangers, they had newly acquired Michael Lorenzen on the mound. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 5 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Of course, you want the walks to go down, but at the same time, not a horrible start for your new team, getting used to a lot of things, living there, the new battery mate, a new coaching staff. So not a horrible start for Lorenzen, and I think it definitely built upon what they before had in that rotation, which is not a lot of great players. So next game we have is Angels-Rays. Scoring would open up in the bottom of the fifth with a Harold Ramirez RBI groundout, scoring Jose Siri to make it 1-0 Tampa. Mike Trout with his 7th home run of the year to make it 2-1 Angels in the top of the 8th, so he answers right back. I mean, Trout has been incredible this year. It's really, really exciting that he is back to form, and we hope to see another MVP from him. He's one of the greatest players of all time, and we should not be taking him for granted. Matt Tice would hit an RBI double in the same inning, top of the 8th, to make it 5-1 LA. So great job by the bats to explode late in the game. Bottom of the 8th, Harold Ramirez would again come up clutch for the Rays, as he would hit a 2-run home run to make it 5-3. But in the top of the 9th, Taylor Ward of the Angels would answer right back, making it 7-3 with a 2-run home run of his own. His 6th of the season. Really great start to the season by him as well. And the Angels would end up winning this game 7-3. So not great start to the season so far for the Rays. I mean, 9-8, not what you want. So definitely need to pick it up right now. They had Zach Leffin on the mound, who of course was great. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, no 1 runs, 5 strikeouts, no home runs. So another great start by Zach Leffin. He hasn't had the best start to the season with a 4.63 ERA, but is still a great pitcher. Finished high in the Cy Young voting last year. I think is going to be a guy that is really, really going to be an ace of the staff this year, and I'm really looking forward to watching it as a baseball fan. For the Angels, they had Patrick Sandoval on the mound, who went 5 innings, giving up 4 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a 4.67 ERA. So not great, but I guess could have been worse. Next game we have here for the American League is going to be a matchup of 2 AL East teams, which is Blue Jays and Yankees. Top of the second, Oswaldo Cabrera would hit an RBI single to score Labor Torres to make it 1-0. Bottom of the second, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa would walk with the bases loaded to tie up the game at 1. So nice little revenge walk, if you want to say, by IKF against his former team. Then a wild pitch by Luis Heel would score Alejandro Kirk to make it 2-1 Toronto. Bottom of the third, Alejandro Kirk would then double to score Bo Bichette to make it 3-1 Toronto, where the score would end up staying. So not a great day for the Yankees offense, only 1 run, which came in the second inning, and 4 hits. So not really what you want. You definitely want them to improve. But at the same time, the Blue Jays did have Chris Bassett on the mound, who is very, very good. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Great job of pitch against the former city he played in, so it's a really solid start there. Luis Heel was on the mound, who went 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Look, Heel is just such an interesting pitcher. I mean, he has such great stuff, and he doesn't give up that many runs, but he walks so many people. I mean, it's annoying to watch walks. Believe me, I know. But at the same time, if he's not giving up these runs while he's walking people, and he can work around these walks fine. I mean, you got to keep him in, right? I think you got to continue just pitching with him. You know what he's going to do. You know what his strategy is like. So it's kind of just got to stick with it. Top four. Sorry, I did not announce what game we're going into now. We have Kansas City and Chicago, two AL Central teams. One team is significantly better than the other, and it would show in this game. Top of the fourth, Vinny Pasquantino with his third home run of the year to make it 1-0 Kansas City. And then in the top of the fifth, Kyle Isbell would hit an RBI single to his former teammate Andrew Benintendi to score Nick Lofton to make it 2-0 Kansas City in the top of the fifth, where the score would never change from, and it would end up staying. So only 4 hits for the White Sox, only 5 hits for the Royals, but they did score 2 runs. So nice job by them. Yes, they beat a bad team, but you can only beat the teams you play. So still a solid job by them. They had Seth Lugo on the mound, who was, again, incredible. What a signing this has turned out to be for Kansas City. If he continues pitching like this, the contract he is at, it's going to be one of the better contracts in baseball history. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, no home runs, a 1.05 ERA in the season. You know, as a Mets fan watching Lugo up close, he begged for years and years to be a starter for the Mets. Mets never really gave him a consistent chance. He left for the Padres, was a great starter there. We were like, okay, can he do it twice? And he's done it twice so far, now signing with the Royals. So a great job by him. You know, he believed in himself, made himself a starter, and it's really turned out well. So a really great job by Lugo. And, just a nice story here, and a great signing by the Royals so far. For the White Sox, they had the rookie Nick Nastrini on the mound, who we're going to be talking about later in our segments. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, as well as a home run. 3.6 ERA for the game and his MLB career. Now, so 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. I mean, pretty great opening start for your MLB career, I'd say. The Royals are not an offense that I take lightly. I think they're very good, especially with all the pieces that have come through this year. So a really nice start for the youngster, a guy I think is going to be a big part of the White Sox future. So, yeah, definitely interested to see how he does turn out in his career. And, just a great start for him, and just a good job. The final game we have on the agenda here is going to be Reds-Mariners, two younger teams that are pretty good matching up. Bottom of the fifth, Jorge Polanco with his third home run as a Seattle Mariner, making it 3-0 Seattle. In the bottom of the first, of course. Heimer Candelario would answer back a little bit with his second home run as a Cincinnati Red to make it 3-1, so the new additions for both these teams are coming in handy. Bottom of the third, Mitch Haniger back with the Mariners with his third home run of the year to make it 5-1, scoring Polanco. So nice job by Haniger and Polanco themselves to really keep this game going with the offense. Top 4, Jake Fraley would hit an RBI double to score Christian Encarnacion Strand to make it 5-2 in the top of the fourth. Bottom of the sixth, Jonathan Clase would hit an RBI single to score Ty France to make it 6-2 Seattle. Then at the top of the seventh, Jake Fraley would answer back, hitting a solo home run to make it 6-3 Seattle. So nice job by Fraley to keep going with this and have a really good game against his former team. Bottom of the seventh, Mitch Haniger would hit an RBI double to score Julio Rodriguez to make it 7-3 Seattle. Ty France would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 8-3, and Luke Raley would hit his first triple as a Mariner to make it 9-3. So a good win by the Mariners. Having gotten off to the best start this year, only being 7-10, but the Reds are a really good team in my opinion, and getting off to a start like this and winning a game like this, I think is really good, and just a great job by them. For the Reds, they had Frankie Montas on the mound, who was not good, going 2 innings, giving up 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 5 walks, a strikeout, and 2 home runs. Obviously not what you want, but he's been pretty good for you guys to start the season, so I think you are okay with it. Obviously you don't want it to happen again, but he's been really good, and it kind of just seems like a fluke start, so you're hoping he gets better after that. For the Mariners, they had George Kirby on the mound, who went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, and a homer. Really nice start by him. He's not had the start to the season he wanted, and having a start like this, I think, makes Mariners fans kind of happy again. They think Kirby, might have the potential to be an ace, and he's playing really, really well right now. So, great job there. So yeah, that is the AL games of yesterday that I did want to recap. So yeah, just wanted to give action on those. By the way, not breaking news, but some news I'm seeing now. The Braves have just placed Ozzie Albies on injured list with a toe fracture. We're not going to be having a segment about general news in the league today, so I just want to mention that. So kind of a big loss to the Braves. You're already losing guys like Strider to injury. You don't want to lose him. So I don't know when this toe fracture happened. I'll have to get more into it. We might talk about it more tomorrow in the show, but yeah, I just did want to mention that, so I didn't forget it. I just did see that. So yeah. So we're going to move into our second segment here, which is talking about the National League games of yesterday. We just talked about the AL, so clean fitting to go into the National. So thank you guys, and we'll see you after the break. Thanks, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link at gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into our second segment of the day. So I know we just talked about the American League games of yesterday, so it's only fitting we do the National League just to recap the games that happened, yesterday and just what happened with those. So I always do this, and just want to catch you guys up in the action. So the first game we have was a really, really great game that I indeed watched last night, which was Mets-Pirates, two hot teams, and it was just a really exciting matchup. So scoring went out open until the top of the sixth, where Andrew McCutchen, a new member of the 300 home run club, would hit an RBI single to score Brian Hayes to make it 1-0 Pittsburgh in the top of the sixth. Connor Joe would then hit an RBI single to score McCutchen to make it 2-0, and then Jared Triolo would hit a sacrifice fly to Starling Marte to score Jack Swinsky to make it 3-0. So, the Pirates hadn't scored until the sixth, but when they did, they really capitalized on it and got 3 runs on the board. The Mets ran into right back though with a Francisco Alvarez walk with the bases loaded to make it 3-1. Then Jeff McNeil would hit a sacrifice fly to score Francisco Lindor to make it 3-2. Then DJ Stewart with the big blow to an RBI double to Connor Joe to score Brett Beatty and move Francisco Alvarez to third to tie up the game at 3. So an amazing job by this Mets offense that is not even at full strength right now to tie up the game at 3-3. DJ Stewart got off to a really horrible start to the season, but has been really, really good now. I mean, a 932 OPS in the season and 25 at-bats. He's making a real case to be the DH consistently. In the bottom of the eighth now, with the game still tied at 3, Harrison Bader with the big blow to the Pirates' chances with an RBI double, his first as a Met, to score Jeff McNeil and DJ Stewart to make it 5-3. Then Brandon Nimmo would reach on a fielder's choice, and which would score Harrison Bader to make it 6-3 Mets, with the score end up staying with a Edwin Diaz save. I mean, a great comeback for the Mets. They're now 8-3 in their last 11. After starting 0-5, they're back at 500. So they're really doing great, and just a really exciting stretch for Mets fans right now. And we're all very, very excited with what's happening with this team. And they're looking real good right now. That's all I'll say. For the Pirates, they had Martin Perez on the mound. He went 5 2/3, giving them 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, a strikeout, and no home runs. So only 1 strikeout's kind of strange, but 5 2/3, only giving a 3 to this Red Hawks Met offense is not horrible. 2.55 ERA in the season, still pretty incredible. I mean, good for him. I doubted the signing a lot. I'm going to keep saying that because I was wrong. So, I think Pirates fans are hoping he continues this. Adrian Hauser on the mound for the Mets, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 walks, and 5 strikeouts. 5 strikeouts, sorry, not 6. So same amount of strikeouts as walks, but 2 earned runs over 5 1/3 to this Pirates offense is really not bad. They've been on fire, so good job by him, and good job controlling this offense even the way he did. Next game we have is an interleague game, a matchup of the 2021 World Series. The Braves and the Astros. Bottom of the first, the Astros will open up the scoring with a Alex Bregman RBI single, scoring Kyle Tucker. But it would be all Braves from here on out, as in the top of the second, Luis Guillorme would single to shortstop Jeremy Pena, scoring Travis d'Arnaud after a throwing error by Pena would ensue. Then, in the top of the second, Ozzie Albies would be hit by a pitch, making it 2-1 Atlanta. This is where I assume he fractured his toe. So, again, if I'm wrong, please let me know, but I didn't really know anything about this, so. In the top of the ninth, scoring would not happen after the top of the second, only be 2-1. So you move to the top of the ninth here. Orlando Arcia would hit an RBI single to score Adam Duvall to make it 3-1 Atlanta. Then Austin Riley would hit an RBI single himself to make it 4-1. Marcell Ozuna would do the same, and Michael Harris II would hit a force out to make it 6-1 Atlanta. And that is where the score would end up staying. So a nice job by the Braves to come back and score a lot of runs at the back half of this game and beat the Astros, who have really, really been struggling. The Astros did have Spencer Arrighetti on the mound, who has not been great filling in for the injured starters. They have 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 11.57 ERA. Not the start to the season I'd say Astros fans wanted for Arrighetti, and I don't think they wanted pitching consistent innings, but that's how baseball works, and that's what's happened so far. They also had Josh Hader on the mound, who was absolutely abysmal. A 3rd innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, and a walk. 9.39 ERA in the season. So really has not been what the Astros have wanted out of him so far. I've seen a lot of Astros fans complaining that Joe Espada, the new manager, is not using him right. So that could be part of it, but I'm not sure, and I have to dive deep into it further. And I still think Hader's really, really good, so I'm not too worried about him. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how he does fare for the rest of the season and if he can build off of this and kind of become the Josh Hader we all know and love. For Atlanta, they had Darius Vines on the mound, 2 4 2/3, giving up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He's just a fill-in guy, so only going 4 2/3, giving up 1 run, I think is as pretty good as you can do. Only 1 earned run is pretty great for any pitcher, so of course you want to go deeper into a game, but again, he is just a fill-in guy, so it's not really too big of a deal. Next game we have here is going to be Rockies and Phillies. In the bottom of the third, Bryce Harper would open up the scoring. Sorry about that. Bottom of the third, Bryce Harper would open up the scoring, making it 1-0 Phillies to score Trey Turner on a single. Top of the fifth, Michael Toglia would answer right back with his 4th home run of the season to make it 1-1. And then in the bottom of the 10th, after no scoring the rest of the game after that, Christian Pache would come in clutch, hitting an RBI single to score Bryson Stott and to walk off the game for the Phillies, making it 2-1. So a nice job for the Phillies to walk off this game. They're only 9-8 so far, kind of disappointing for this season so far. So it's a good job at them to kind of get the momentum back in their way and kind of get everyone fired up right now. So they had Aaron Nola on the mound, who went 7 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, 9 strikeouts, and a homer. So a really great start by him. Really only gave up 1 bad pitch, and then and that was kind of it for his start. So it was really, really solid. For the Rockies, they had Kyle Quantrill on the mound. He went 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and a strikeout. So a really solid start by him, especially against this Phillies offense. Hasn't had a great season, but at the same time, this is a really strong start, and I think Rockies fans are hoping he adds on to it and continues working upon it. Next game we have is 2 underperforming teams playing together, the Marlins and the Giants. Marlins, of course, much worse than the Giants considering they're 3-14, but Giants have also underperformed, so we'll see who wins this game. Very important for both teams. Bottom of the second, Avisarly Garcia would open up the scoring for the Marlins, hitting his 2nd home run of the season, raising his OPS to a whopping 595. Incredible. Marlins fans do really do not like this guy. I mean, his contract's been horrible for them, so kind of can't blame him. And then Brian De La Cruz in the same inning, the bottom of the second, would hit an RBI double to score Otto Lopez and Luis Arraez. He would advance to 3rd on a throwing error by Nick Ahmed, but still, nice job by him to keep the scoring going for the Marlins in that way. Top of the 4th, Mike Conforto would hit an RBI single to score Jung-Hoo Lee to make it 3-1. Then top of the 7th, Patrick Bailey would hit an RBI sacrifice fly to score Thairo Estrada to make it 3-2. And then Jung-Hoo Lee would tie up the game, making it 3-3 San Francisco after an RBI single to score Mike Yastrzemski. So really nice job by the Giants offense to fight back. That would not be it, as Wilmer Flores would hit an RBI single to score Nick Ahmed to make it 4-3 San Francisco in the top of the seventh, and that is where the score would end up staying at. So nice job by San Francisco to beat this bad Marlins team. I think you have to capitalize off these games when you're playing like you are right now, so really nice job by them. The Marlins had Edward Cabrera on the mound, who was recently called up from AAA. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, an earned run, a walk, 10 strikeouts. Really, really great start by him. Of course, didn't mean anything as the Marlins would lose, but really strong start by him. He was mentioned a lot of trade rumors this offseason, and if the Marlins continue playing like they are right now, I think he's going to be a big piece of the trade deadline for some teams, and that's definitely something to watch. But wow, 10 strikeouts, really great start by him. And also limiting the walks, that's been the biggest thing. Only 1 walk, really, really great. So if he can continue doing that, he'll be a great pitcher from now on. The Giants had Kyle Harrison on the mound, who was decent. 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Only gave up all his runs in the first inning, of course, but at the same time, definitely want something better than that. 6 innings pitched and 3 earned runs. Not horrible, but you're playing the Marlins, and they ended up winning, so it wasn't a big deal. But I'd still want a little bit of a better start than that. Next game we have here is going to be Padres Brewers. Team that made 2 teams that made a huge trade together a few years ago with Josh Hader. So, bottom of the first, Willie Adames would hit an RBI single to score Jackson Chario to make it 1-0 Milwaukee. It's early in the game. Then Jackson Chario would hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the second to make it 3-0 Milwaukee. Top of the fourth, Ha-Sung Kim would ground into a force out to score a run to make it 3-1. Then Fernando Tatis Jr. would ground out to score a run, scoring Luis Campusano to make it 3-2. Then the Padres would tie up the game from a pass ball by William Contreras to score Tyler Wade and move Xander Bogaerts to third. Then big blows would keep coming in this inning, the top of the fifth, with a Manny Machado RBI single to make it 4-3. Then a Jackson Merrill RBI single to make it 6-3. Then a Luis Campusano single to make it 7-3. So a great job by this Padres offense in this inning to end up winning this game just simply from really that inning. So just a really solid job there by this offense. The Brewers had Joe Ross on the mound, 4 2/3, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 7 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Not a good start whatsoever. 6 earned runs and 4 2/3. Not what you want. Padres had Joe Musgrove, who went 6 innings, giving up 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a homer. So a solid start by him, trying to come back from his rough start to the season with a 6.29 ERA so far. So he's definitely going to be better than that. I think all Padres fans know that. So I don't think you should be too worried. Next game we have is Cubs and Diamondbacks, 2 teams trying to fight for a wild card spot this year. Top of the second, Michael Busch would continue his hot streak with his new team, the Cubs, to make it 1-0, his 6th home run of the year in the top of the second. Bottom of the second, Jake McCarthy would tie it right back up with a RBI single to make it 1-1. Then Corbin Carroll with an RBI single in the bottom of the 8th to make it 2-1. Then a wild pitch by Kevin Ginkel in the top of the 9th would score Nico Horner to make it 2-2. And then Nico Horner would come in clutch again to make it 3-2 Arizona with an RBI single in the top of the 11th. Yes, this game went to extra innings. The Diamondbacks would not tie it up in extras to make it 3-2 Chicago, where the game would end up staying. So a really nice win by the Cubs. They had on the mound Ben Brown, who went 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts, and 4 walks. A really, really great start by him. A guy the Cubs, I think, are looking for to be a big part of their rotation in the future. So really, really nice start by him. Diamondbacks have Merrill Kelly on the mound, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So continues to be one of the most underrated players in baseball. A really, really great start and just a great pitcher overall. Next game we have here is going to be Cardinals and Athletics. One really bad team and one just regular bad team. Top of the first, Nolan Arenado with an RBI single to score Paul Goldschmidt to make it 1-0. Wilson Contreras, would hit a RBI double to make it 2-0 St. Louis in the top of the 6th. Jordan Walker would hit an RBI single to make it 3-0, also in the top of the 6th. And then Esteury Ruiz, coming back from surprisingly getting sent down to AAA, would hit a solo home run, his first of the year, of course, to make it 3-1. The A's would not end up winning, but still a nice job by Ruiz to hit that home run and kind of show the A's, what were you doing? Why would you do that? So I think it was a confusing move from the start, and he's proving it now. Ross Stripling was on the mound for Oakland. He went 5 2/3, giving him 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. an start, just kind of Cardinals, they had Sonny Gray in the mound, back in his former ballpark. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. That's what they signed him for. That's an ace. Something the Cardinals have needed for a long, long time. So a great job by him. Really, really strong start. And I think Cardinals fans are happy. They actually have a great starter so far, for right now. Next game we have, the final game on the agenda, I will say, is Nationals-Dodgers. You think this game would probably just be a pushover for the Dodgers, right? Well, be anything other than that. Top of the first, a wild pitcher by Tyler Glasnow would score C.J. Abrams to make it 1-0. Will Smith would answer back for the Dodgers, make it 1-1 with a sacrifice fly, and Chris Taylor would do the same in the bottom of the second to make it 2-1. But C.J. Abrams would homer against his former organization to make it 2-2. In the top of the third, and Joey Gallo, also a former Dodger, would make it 3-2 with an RBI double. Luis Garcia Jr. would hit a 3-run home run in the top fifth, a big blow to the Dodgers to make it 6-2. Then in the bottom of the sixth, Will Smith would hit an RBI grounder to make it 6-3, and a Max Muncy single would make it 6-4, but the Dodgers would still end up losing to the lowly Nationals. Not a great sign for them. Of course, they're still a great team. I'm not doubting that, but you definitely do not want to lose to the Nationals. The Dodgers had Tyler Glasnow on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Not a good start by him, especially against the Nationals. Kind of surprising. I mean, he's been so great for them. It's not really not too big of a deal, but still not really what you want. The Nationals had they had Mitchell Parker on the mound, who I'd never heard of actually, so that's someone. You got to be a real interesting guy for me not to ever heard of you. So 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. So a pretty solid start by him, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do with the Nationals in the future. So yeah, that was the end of our second segment here, just talking about the NL games of yesterday. We're going to move on to our second segment, which is talking about the prospect call-ups of recent days for MLB. There's been a lot of top prospects and just interesting prospects being called up in MLB, so I did want to talk about it. And we're going to go to that, but first we're going to go to break, so we'll see you after that. Thank you so much, and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We're going to go into our third segment here of the show today, which is talking about some prospects in baseball. There was a lot of guys that were recently called up in the league, so I did just want to touch upon them and just give my 2 cents on them, that them being called up, and what happened with them. So, and how I think they can affect their team. So, let's get into it. So the first guy I did want to talk about was a surprise today, which we learned a few hours ago, was that Jack Leiter has finally been called up by the Texas Rangers. Now, of course, Leiter was the second overall pick in the MLB draft by the Rangers in 2021. Of course, is the son of former pitcher Al Leiter, so obviously has MLB connection there. Leiter was an interesting guy, as he had really struggled in the minor leagues before this year. ERAs of 5.07, 8.10, 5.19, 5.54, but this year kind of put it all together a little bit. I mean, only a small sample size, of course, 3 games pitching in, but had a 3.77 ERA, but it really flashed some nice stuff, had kind of shown that he might have been backed. I mean, a 16K per night in the minors, so really strong start by him. I'm not exactly sure when he's going to make his MLB debut, and if he's going to be pitching out of the bullpen first before becoming a full-time starter, so we'll definitely have to see about that. But I think this is a really good job by the Rangers. They need a lot of pitching help since you've had injuries to a lot of guys, including Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom. So I think that calling up Leiter is a good decision, in my opinion. You want to see what he has there in the tank. You drafted him second overall for a reason. Yes, his professional career didn't start out like you wanted it to, but at the same time, he still has a lot of potential. He has the tools. He was one of the greatest pitching prospects ever coming out of college. I don't really think it's a crazy thing to say that. So I'm very, very excited to see what he can do at the major league level, and I'm excited to see what he can do for the Rangers pitching staff. So, I mean, you just placed Cody Bradford on the IL, who is like your 8th starter, so you definitely need the help right now. And if Leiter can become really, really good, I think that's a huge help to the Rangers, and just something that is really going to affect their pitching staff and really give a positive outlook for them. The Rangers also called up Cole Winn, who made his first appearance in a game yesterday, going inning and 2/3 in relief. He did not give up any runs, which is really nice. So, great job by him. Another guy I think that is going to affect and help the Rangers pitching staff a lot. Again, the Rangers had so many injuries so far. It's one of the reasons I was skittish on them to make the playoffs, just the pitching staff and what's going on with them. So, but if you can get your young guys like Cole Winn, like Jack Leiter to really perform, be very good, and be consistent starters in this rotation, might change my outlook on you guys. So it's kind of crazy how much young talent and potential the Rangers have in their farm, even after winning the World Series. So their organization's just in a great space right now, and I'm really interested to see the future. You also have guys like Kumar Rocker, of course, Jack Leiter's college teammate, who haven't even been called up to the major leagues yet, who could still make a big impact. So yeah, that's definitely something else I'm watching. Of course, he is recovering from Tommy John, so we're not sure when he'll be fully back from that, but still was a great pitching prospect coming out, even though he did have that situation with the Mets where they didn't even want to offer him because they felt his arm was bad or something. His arm was so bad that there was no point in even offering him. So we'll definitely have to see with Rocker, but as of right now, these two guys they called up, Leiter and Winn, are I think going to be really impactful pieces to this rotation and pitching staff alike. So yeah, good job by them. And, great job so far. The Astros did a really interesting calling up today, calling up Forrest Whitley to the major leagues. Now, if you guys don't know who Forrest Whitley is, he's had a very, very interesting career so far in professional baseball. So this is a guy that was drafted 17th overall by the Astros. Came from Texas, was a flamethrower, and was kind of marked as maybe the next, not savior of Astros baseball, but one of the next great pitchers for them. And oh boy, he did not do that right away. I mean, he got drafted in 2016, started the minor leagues there, and is now 26 and has not made his MLB debut, but is finally being called up. So got hurt a lot in the minor leagues, did not have the greatest stats, and when he would make the roster a lot of times coming to spring training, but he would just consistently get hurt and all that. So just was a very unfortunate career for Forrest Whitley so far. Just a guy that really had the short end of the stick with the injuries, with the stats he put up. So we didn't really know what was going to happen with him, but the Astros stuck with him, and now finally at age 26, after 8 years after being drafted, he's finally making his major league debut. I think if Forrest Whitley can be good for the Astros, it helps them with so many things. I mean, their rotation right now is really on thin ice. You have a guy I just talked about before, Spencer Arrighetti. He's making consistent starts for you. That should not be happening. He's not that good. You have other depth guys who are you're elevating to everyday starting pitchers, which you don't want to do right now. The Astros are in a bad place. Their pitching staff is kind of in shambles. Their bullpen has not done great, and some of their hitting I think is regressing just a little bit. So I think they need a spark right now, and I don't know if Whitley can do that all himself, but I think he's definitely a positive to them. I think he's definitely a guy that can bring a lot of great things to this rotation if he is healthy. He throws a great fastball. He has some other secondary pitches like his slider and changeup that I think are also very solid. So I think Whitley is a lot of potential, but is he going to live up to it? I'm not sure. We're still not sure about that. So it's going to be really fun and interesting to watch him pitch the Astros, finally make his MLB debut, and just something super interesting to see. If he can be good, if he can be a consistent MLB pitcher, I think that helps the Astros rotation so much because of the injuries they've had and some of the guys they have consistently starting. I mean, J.P. France, again, going to go back to Spencer Arrighetti. These are fine depth guys, but you don't want them pitching consistently. But Whitley still has some potential, I think. He's a younger guy, even though he is 26. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch Whitley. And I think a lot of Astros fans have given up on him. And if he pitches consistently, he pitches well, it's a huge bump up to that Astros pitching staff. And just a great job for them. So, yeah. Moving into a team that Astros fans probably don't like very much is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, they caught up 3 prospects, so I wanted to touch upon, of course. The first one being Andy Pages, the number 94 prospect in MLB, according to Pipeline. This is a guy who had really torn up the minors, especially this year. 73 plate appearances in the PCL, in the AAA this year. Had a 1.146 OPS. Last year in AA, he had a 975 OPS, so was a guy that had really consistently slugged at the minor league levels and had really become a really great prospect for this Dodgers team, like they needed more young talent. So it makes a lot of sense to call him up right now. I think the offense could use a little bit of a boost. They've dropped some games now. They just lost a game to the Nationals, so I don't think Pages is going to start right away, but I think he brings a spark. He's a guy I think you have to flesh out a role for. I'm not sure where he could potentially start. I think he could take Jason Hayward's role depending on what happens with him. So that's something that could be looked at here. The thing with this is I think a lot of people are wondering, did they call him up too early? This is a guy who is pretty young right now. I mean, Pages is, he is 23, but at the same time, he kind of needs some cooking. I still don't think minor league, some people think so. I don't think there's a really fleshed out role for him consistently, and he is a little bit raw, but I'm not going to be one to sit here and say, oh, the Dodgers have no idea what they're doing. They don't know how to call up these prospects. So if the Dodgers think he's ready, I think he's ready. But it is interesting that they called him up this early. I saw a lot of Dodgers prospect people online saying they were surprised by how early he got called up. So I don't think it's a matter of his talent. I just think it is that he might be a little bit raw, and again, he doesn't have a full role, and so you're not sure where his playing time is going to consistently come from, which I think needs to happen if you want to develop him fully. So it's going to be interesting to watch how they do end up performing with Pages and then where they end up putting him. So, yeah, definitely something I'm watching and definitely something I do want to see. The Dodgers also called up Ricky Vanasco, who was one of their pitching prospects. Not really a top guy, but definitely a notable guy in the overall system for them. This is a guy who has made his MLB debut already. Pitched 2 innings yesterday, so he had 1 strikeout, gave up no hits, so it was really solid. I think as a guy that can help their pitching a lot. I think they've lost some bullpen pieces so far. Their starting rotation is kind of injury prone, whether they want to admit it or not. So I think bringing up a younger pitcher like Vanasco, who has some potential, who has good stuff, I think could be a really big of importance to your rotation, to your bullpen. You just lost Bobby Miller. You just lost Emmett Sheehan. You're not sure how long. Yes, you have Walker Buehler coming up, but you don't know when he exactly is going to come up and make a start. And he is coming off a huge injury. So I think calling up Vanasco is a good move by them. I think this is a guy that brings a lot of depth to your rotation, and you want to see what you have out of him. The Dodgers have so much young pitchers that they just have to see it at some point. What happens with them and what their careers in the MLB are going to look like. So, yeah, definitely interesting to me and definitely interesting to see what is going to happen with Vanasco. And also, another pitcher that was also caught up by the Dodgers, so the Dodgers are just calling up all their young talent right now, and that was Landon Knack. Now, Landon Knack is an interesting case. This is a guy I am definitely interested in. He is, he is 26 and has not been up to the major leagues yet. I think this guy really, more profiles as a reliever in the MLB in the future. He has 15 innings pitched in AAA this year, had a 4.02 ERA, but I think has really raw and great stuff and electrifying stuff. So I think the Dodgers see that. I think they're hopeful that he can come up, make a big impact on this bullpen, maybe make a start or two. I don't think he will. I think he profiles again more as a reliever in the MLB in the future, especially now being 26. I'm not really sure how much potential there is to completely dig out of him. So, yeah, it's going to be something interesting to watch and just see what not only Knack's role is, but Page's role and Vanasco's role on the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers have such a loaded roster and such a loaded lineup and rotation and bullpen that they have to get these young guys involved, but how? I mean, how are they going to get them involved? So it's going to be something that I am really interested in watching, and just seeing how the Dodgers do end up getting these guys playing time and getting them at inconsistent moments in their roster. So yeah, the last guy I did want to talk about was someone I touched upon yesterday a little bit, talking about their talking about his MLB debut, which was Nick Nastrini of the Chicago White Sox. Of course, Nastrini came over to the White Sox in the Lance Lynn trade, so a former Dodger when we talked about other Dodgers. So as I talked about in the first segment, had a pretty solid start today with the Chicago White. Yesterday, I will say, sorry, MLB debut with the Chicago White Sox. I think Nastrini has a lot of good stuff. He was a guy that I was hoping the Mets would target last deadline when they were selling off pieces. I thought they could have got him for a David Robertson or a Tommy Pham or something like that, a package deal. So, yeah, that was so Nastrini is a guy I am looking at, and a guy I think he's going to be really good. So I think it's a good job by the White Sox to call him up. I think he was more than ready. And the White Sox see, there's not much going on with our team right now. We need a spark, and calling up our young talent can be that. We just signed Tommy Pham, who you can consider a spark plug because, he has a very nice personality. He's a leader in that clubhouse. So, yeah, it's interesting that they call up Nastrini. I'm very much looking forward to watching his starts consistently. I'm very high on him, and I think he's going to be a big part of this White Sox team in rotation and core going forward. So that's another guy I did want to touch upon. And, just overall, these prospects in the MLB getting called up, I thought there was, a lot of guys, and I just did want to touch upon them. Jack Leiter, Cole Winn, Forrest Whitley, Andy Pages, Ricky Vanasco, Landon Knack, and Nick Nastrini, all guys that I was really interested in talking about. So, we're going to move on to our fourth and final segment here, which is going to be talking about a segment I'm really only going to be probably today, which is I'm calling it Legends of the Game. It's honoring two legends that are, legends of baseball history. I don't know why that was so weird coming out of my mouth. John Sterling and Jackie Robinson both were in the news yesterday, so I did want to just talk about their legacies and just talk about them overall as people and as guys who did affect baseball in very positive ways. So yeah, we'll go to that, but first we're going to go to our third and final break. So yeah, we'll see you after that. Thanks and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We are going to give you our fourth and final segment today on my show, which is talking about, as I've said a few times now, the legends of the game. So the first one I did want to talk about was Jackie Robinson. Of course, yesterday was Jackie Robinson Day. Everyone around the league wore 42. In my opinion, the best tradition in all of sports. I think the impact that Jackie Robinson brought on baseball is truly incredible, of course, and I think he is such an influential guy and one of the most influential men in American history, and one of the most, and I'd say definitely the most influential player in baseball history. Of course, an amazing movie was made about him as well, 42, and the famous line, maybe someday we'll all wear 42, after Pee Wee Reese talked about the racist comments that he was getting called by fans and also his teammates, and also other teams as well, especially the manager of the Phillies at that time. So I just want to talk about Jackie Robinson's impact on the game. I mean, where do we even begin? I mean, of course, the first African-American player to play in the MLB. Now, I know a lot of people would say that someone, did in the 1800s and early 1900s, but back when, but I think Jackie Robinson is the most notable and the guy that really did affect baseball in the highest level and the highest way. So, without him, I don't really know if half of these players would be in baseball, and half of the great talents in baseball we have today would be a part of it. So, I mean, of course, broke the color barrier, getting signed by Branch Rickey for the Brooklyn Dodgers. So, of course, that was his impact. I mean, first African American player, and not only that, was so good and dealt with so much. I mean, he dealt with so many things being thrown at him, so many things said at him, so many slurs, so many horrible, disgusting things, so many threats, and just it's inconceivable to me that he went through all that and was still an amazing baseball player, still focused on his day job, and never once really fought back in a violent way or anything like that. So, just an incredible man, an incredible baseball player. I did want to, it was Jackie Robinson Day yesterday, the anniversary of his MLB debut, April 15th. So, I wanted to just touch upon that and make sure his memory lives on. I think that there's so many great African American baseball players in the MLB now and in the past as well that would not have been there without him. Hank Aaron, the greatest slugger of all time. Ernie Banks, one of the greatest Cubs of all time. Cool Papa Bell, didn't play in the MLB, but was still an amazing player. Barry Bonds, of course, you could argue the greatest baseball player of all time if you don't care about steroids. Lou Brock, an amazing player. Roy Campanella, Bob Gibson, Satchel Paige, Ken Griffey Jr., of course. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., I would say, is top 5 most influential baseball players of all time, with the swag he brought to baseball, with the talent he had, with how fluid he played the game, with how many new faces he brought to baseball. I think baseball at that time did have a diversity problem. I don't think there was a lot of diversity among the fans. And I think Ken Griffey brought a lot of new faces into the game, brought a lot of new demographics into baseball, brought a lot of new fans. With his backwards hat, his sweet swing, I mean, how he played center field, his personality, how amazing he was at baseball, one of the greatest players of all time, and arguably the most influential. And he would not even have gotten the chance if Jackie Robinson wasn't there. So just all connects back to there. So Tony Gwynn, of course, one of the greatest basemen of all time. Rickey Henderson, the greatest base stealer of all time. Reggie Jackson, one of the greatest sluggers of all time. Derek Jeter, of course. I could just go on and on and on. Willie Mays, in my opinion, the greatest baseball player of all time. So, just Jackie Robinson's legacy still lives throughout baseball history, still nowadays, and one of the most influential men in American history, the most influential baseball player in the history of the MLB. And happy Jackie Robinson yesterday, guys. And one of the influence he brought still lives in baseball today with all the different demographics we have in baseball. I think baseball has proven it is the world's game. So many different people and players and nationalities and races watch the game, and that's beautiful to me. I think that was very evident with the World Baseball Classic last year, with how many different countries were very excited about it, were very enthusiastic, watched their teams, traveled to watch their teams. So yeah, it's just baseball is one of the best sports, is the best sport in the world to me because of that, and I love it, and it's all because of Jackie Robinson. So thank you so much, Jackie, for your impact, and just again, his influence cannot be overstated, and I did want to just take some time to celebrate Jackie Robinson and his legacy, as Jackie Robinson Day was yesterday. So again, thank you. Now, another legend of the game I did want to talk about was John Sterling. John Sterling, of course, the Yankees announcer for 36 years in baseball, for over 60 years. One of the most influential broadcasters of all time, one of the greatest broadcasters of all time for TV, for radio, and someone like me who, wants to get into sports media, is, doing that right now, of course, hosting this and talking to all you wonderful people every day. I think Sterling was a guy that paved the way, well, not paved the way, but was one of the best guys at that. Some of the most iconic calls in baseball history because of him. Had a name for every single Yankees player when they did a home run. One of my favorites is Higashioka, the home run stroker. I think about that all the time, just how amazing that is. Like a good neighbor, Glaber is there. These are just incredible things to say as a baseball announcer, and I think Sterling, I don't know if he paved the way for having your own baseball calls, like something that is true to you, like Mike Breen in basketball says bang. You have Matt Vasgersian say Santa Maria. So I don't know if Sterling was the guy to invent that, but he definitely popularized it, especially in baseball. I don't think we'd have some of the great announcers we have today, like Matt Vasgersian or Howie Rose, who said put it in the books, and you have Gary Cohen, who out of here. So I want to thank John Sterling for his years of service to baseball, one of the greatest announcers of all time, and a true legend of baseball, and someone I grew up listening to. You know, I did grow up a Mets fan, but at the same time, you know, whenever I was stuck in traffic, going somewhere out of New York City, which is a lot. Believe me, if you live in New York, you know that traffic, and I'm sure even if you don't live in New York, you know about the New York traffic. So we would, you know, put on the Yankees game if it was a day game, and you'd hear Sterling talking, and just, you know, he's the closest I would think to what I've heard of kind of Vince Scully. Vince Scully, everyone says, you would feel like you're just talking, you're just having a conversation with him. He would just talk to you about regular things over a baseball game, and to me, that was kind of always what John Sterling felt like. Just as a radio announcer, a guy that was very relatable, just a great baseball mind, of course, and just a great announcer, a great people person. Seems like a great just man all around. So, yeah, a great baseball mind, one of the greatest announcers of all time. I think paved the way for a lot of the guys I love, of course. Like I said, Gary Cohen, Howie Rose. Growing up as a Mets fan, I've been blessed with some great announcers, and I think Sterling was one of those guys to give an impact on them. I mean, around 90 years old, still doing what he did was incredible. So congratulations to John Sterling on an amazing career, one of the greatest announcers in sports history, paved the way for radio, and was just one of the greatest guys to ever do it. So congratulations to him. Have a great retirement. Hopefully his name will be up on the Yankees rafters there. And yeah, there's not much else to say about him. A legend of the game, truly impactful. Also him, Jackie Robinson, two guys that I wanted to push together. You know, I think Jackie Robinson obviously did way more for baseball than John Sterling, but both were legends, and I wanted to just put them together, talk about them, talk about their impacts, and just, you know, just say happy Jackie Robinson Day to Jackie. I know he's somewhere, just, you know, very happy that his impact in baseball is still going on, and he is the reason we have so many great baseball players today. And John Sterling, one of the greatest announcers of all time. Congratulations on your retirement, and congratulations on a great career. So yeah, that is what I did want to touch upon. So yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching our show today. Make sure to follow us on social media, get content and updates: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Again, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. It's a beautiful day outside. Please enjoy it, and we'll see what baseball throws at us tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye. See you tomorrow.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.